Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Better Off Dead Friday, September 19th. We were able to get a win yesterday. Another winning day yesterday. The Reds, the only play yesterday, got the win on that one. It was closer than I thought it would be. It was a 1-0 win for the Reds. Hunter Green certainly held up his end of the bargain, but they complete game, 1 hitter with 9 strikeouts. I think maybe no walks, 1 walk, whatever it was. Dominant performance against a pretty good offense, too. What I did not expect was that Colin Ray actually almost matched him and did really well. He went 7 innings and had 11 strikeouts, which I really would not expect at all. He gave up 1 run, though, and that was it. Reds got there. First 5, I thought was maybe a potential play or a potential way to play that game. And I think the Reds did get there on that one, too. If you went, you probably had to go run line on that, minus a half run. I think they scored the run earlier in the game, so I think they did cover that as well. I'd have to double check, but decent day. I mean, we got to work our way back up because we're on a bad stretch again. So it's looking like this is going to be second losing year in a row for me on the show, which would be ridiculous because it would be only a third losing year that I've been since I've been doing this for the last 18 years. Just things that we can't get right, man. I'll move on today. We got a lot of stuff going on today. I'm going to give out, I guess, 3 baseball plays. Looks like the market's kind of disagreeing with 2 of them, but I'm going to do it anyway. WNBA will be up first. We do have WNBA and college football today as well, but I won't give out plays, but I will talk about everything. WNBA, this has been a weird series, man. So, by the way, congratulations, I guess, to the Indiana Fever were actually able to knock out the Atlanta Dream, even though Atlanta, I believe, has a man on their team, Brittany Griner. Don't nuke me, YouTube. But crazy that Indiana won that series, man. A road series without Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Imagine if they were there. I mean, that's crazy. I don't see them getting by Vegas, obviously, in the next round. Minnesota also was able to win their series. No surprise there, obviously. This series that we have tonight, the only game 3 that we've had so far, I think it's the only one that we do have in the first round. New York and Phoenix, and the road team has actually won both games. And if you see what happened in Game 2, Phoenix won Game 2 on the road. They won it in an absolute blowout, 86-60, and the game was actually more of a blowout than that late in the game. And then, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can really take away from that at the end, though. I mean, teams are just putting in their backups and whatever. I mean, the game was over. But when you see a blowout like this, the zigzag theory in the playoffs, especially for NBA, WNBA, you kind of want to look to go with the team that got blown out in that game. You want to go with them in the next game. So, I saw this score, and I was like, I think I want to go with the Liberty in the final game, but I don't know if I can quite bring myself to do it, although I think it is the correct side. I mean, the Liberty, this game was an outlier for multiple reasons, man. The Liberty shot 30.2% from the field, really low. That's not going to happen again. Phoenix kind of shot normally. And the Liberty were also really bad from three-point range, 23.1% from three, and they lost the turnover battle. Phoenix in single digits in turnovers. Liberty also lost the rebounding battle. But this shooting percentage is such an outlier. You got to think that the Liberty are going to bounce back. The zigzag theory basically says when a team gets blown out, like they have the adjustments to make. Because if you're Phoenix, like you don't have anything to change because everything just worked in that game. The Liberty basically have everything to change. Plus, I think the shooting percentages are just such an outlier. And usually you don't see the home team losing the turnover battle like this. And I know Phoenix is the home team this time, which is really what my hesitation is in this one, because I would lean to the Liberty. I think you're actually getting line value, too. So not only are they in the zigzag bounce-back spot, there is line value. Phoenix is up from 1 to 2.5, which does look like the money is coming in on Phoenix, though. 74% of tickets, 80% of the cash on them. So that concerns me a little bit. But Phoenix, they were an underdog in the first game, man. I gave them out in the first game, and they blew the game and lost it in overtime. If you remember, they could have won that game. I know they were losing for large stretches of that game, though, which does mean the Liberty can show up here and win this game for sure. But the line value, I think, is on the Liberty here as well, because Phoenix, they were like a 2.5 point underdog in that first game. And now they're a 2.5 point favorite. And I told you I didn't think the line was correct in the first game. I thought Phoenix should have been about a 1 point favorite, but now they're a 2.5 point home favorite. So I do think that, I mean, that line being so much different from where it was in game one in the same arena, the line value's on the Liberty. The Liberty also have the experience. I mean, they've been here recently. They've done this. They won the championship last year. They got some of the same personnel back. So the Liberty also do have an experience edge here, but they are pretty bad on the road. I mean, that does give me pause for sure. The Liberty 10-12 on the road during the regular season. Phoenix was 15-7 at home. So Phoenix much better at home. I mean, that was part of my handicap in game one. Phoenix way better at home. Liberty not as good on the road. Worries me a little bit. I still think the Liberty are probably the right side here. I was thinking I was probably going to give out a play on it. Don't think I'm going to. I mean, I'm not going to, but it's close. I would lean to the Liberty still. I think they do actually have the ability to go in there and get that, get it done on the road in that one, but definitely a little bit worrisome in that one. Let's move over to Major League Baseball here. We got full slate of baseball, obviously. Everything's in the evening here. Friday, a lot of teams are starting new series. It's one of those days where you have to pay attention to who played yesterday, who was rested, which we have that coming up in the first game up. Atlanta at Detroit. Detroit played yesterday. They got swept by Cleveland. And as a Red Sox fan, I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Skubal pitched well, and they still didn't win. I mean, it's just crazy. Detroit can't even win with Skubal on the mound. They get swept by Cleveland. Cleveland, they are just not a good team, man. If they were to make the playoffs, it would be a joke. I mean, I'm sorry, and they might make it over the Red Sox. It's just insane. They're only 1.5 back of the Red Sox. Cleveland sold off at the trade deadline. They have a pathetic offense, like one of the worst few offenses in baseball. Their pitching hasn't even really exactly been that great this year. They lost their closer because he was gambling. I mean, it's like, how are they doing this? I think Detroit kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, though. I mean, it looks like they have recently, losing 6 of their last 7. I think they just thought they were secure and just kind of were like, whatever. But now they're not. I mean, they should have been fighting for playoff positioning because they're not going to have home field throughout the playoffs or anything like that now. Maybe Detroit a little bit overrated based on what they did earlier in the season. I mean, they're still certainly good. My reaction to this is that they're kind of in a bounce back spot. I mean, with Cleveland so close behind them, getting embarrassed at home by Cleveland, they are generally a good home team. With a team that's not really that familiar with their venue coming in, you got to think Detroit is going to be angry at this point and actually show up for once. Atlanta didn't play yesterday, though, so Atlanta does have a rest advantage. Detroit played yesterday. Atlanta's on a hot streak. They've won 5 games in a row, but 4 of them were against Washington, so I don't know how much you can really take away from that. They're traveling up to Detroit from Washington, but they do have the rest. So a little bit of a rest advantage, although Detroit's staying at home, so Detroit with a little bit of a travel edge. Detroit only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, so I'm not sure how much the rest advantage really does help Atlanta here. Starting pitching, I don't really want either of these starting pitchers, man. I really don't. Bryce Elder for Atlanta. I mean, I never really want him. Not good numbers. 5.56 ERA, 1.45 whip. He is better on the road, though. 4.35 road ERA. He did pitch well 4 starts in a row against good opponents, too. The Mets, Philly, the Cubs twice. That's crazy. Allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in those 5. Then he regressed again at home against Houston. Gave up 600 runs in 4 1/3. Not a good outing for him there. Overall, his numbers are actually good this month in the 3 starts, though. 19-4 strikeout walk ratio, 3.57 ERA. He is better on the road, but are we really going to get a good performance out of Elder here? I don't know if I'd really want to bank on it, man. He looks like he might be coming back out of form again. Detroit, though, hasn't really seen a whole lot of him. Only 4 at-bats. 2 hitters have ever faced him. They're 1 for 4. Ibanez is the only hit with a single, and he also does have a walk. And they have no strikeouts off him. So Elder, I mean, he's unfamiliar to Detroit. It is possible that he actually does okay in this game, as ridiculous as that sounds. I mean, Detroit does have the better offense, but it's not that significant, I should say. Detroit normally has the better bullpen as well. They probably still do, even though Atlanta's is rested. I don't think we can say Detroit has the better starter, though, with Charlie Morton on the mound. He looks like he's pretty much taxed at the end of the season here. He's got a 5.56 ERA, 1.54 whip. A little bit worse at home, 5.67 ERA, although that includes his stint with Baltimore and with Detroit. Detroit picked him up at the trade deadline. And with Morton, I always point out, he started off the season awful with Baltimore. They put him in the bullpen. They brought him back into the starting rotation. And then he was actually good for a while when Baltimore had him in the starting rotation. Detroit picked him up in a trade. He actually was pretty good for Detroit for a while, but recently he's been really bad again, man. It looks like maybe his season is over. I don't want to say his career is over, although that's what I was saying early in the season, but he's just not really getting the job done at this point. 3 starts this month. His team has lost all of them. They've lost 4 starts in a row of his. He's allowed multiple runs in all of them, but he's allowed 5 and 6 in 2 of the 3, although he allowed fewer in his last 2 outings against White Sox and Miami, the 2 easier opponents he faced here, but he has failed to go past the 4-inning mark in any of the 3 this month, has a 9-11 strikeout walk ratio, which is just awful this month, and a 9.28 ERA. He looks like he's totally fallen off, man. So I definitely would worry about Morton here. Going up against the Braves, which are actually his former team, although he actually faced them this year when he was with Baltimore. His numbers are not horrible against the Braves. 85 at-bats, 28-12 strikeout walk ratio is not great. 235 batting average, 760 OPS. And sometimes people ask me about like what I consider to be good, what I consider not be good as far as the thresholds there. I would say the strikeout walk ratio, I consider like 3 and above to be good, basically. OPS, kind of the Mendoza line there, I think is about 750 as far as what you allow to opponents. Like, if it's on the better side of that, it's kind of good. If it's on the worse side of that, it's starting to get bad. And then batting average is actually the one that I have like the least gauge on. I mean, batting average keeps changing. Like, it's gone down across the league. Like, I used to remember much higher batting averages back in the steroid era and whatever. And now it seems like it's, which you think would be home runs, which it kind of was, but it was batting average too. So I don't even know, man. Maybe like 260 is kind of the batting average. Mendoza, I don't really know, man. Ramiro Mendoza from the Yankees. But yeah, Morton, I'm not really expecting that much out of him either, man. I'm not really expecting much out of either team, to be honest. Like, my thoughts on this are that it seems like it's an over to me. Total's gone a little bit up from 9, juice to the under to 9. We don't see the percentages on it yet. Obviously, it would not shock me if both starting pitchers struggle here. Detroit actually up from -112 to -116. They actually are very public, though. I mean, well, that's not surprising. Detroit with the better record, even though they've been playing badly recently, they still have all the public money. 74% of tickets and 91% of the cash. So it looks like Atlanta is a big-time public fade if you do like Atlanta. I mean, I have a somewhat difficult time getting there with that one, man. Like, I mean, you can listen to my analysis. There are factors going both ways there. I would personally probably be looking to an over instead, but definitely don't want to touch that game. Cubs at the Reds. We got the Reds right yesterday. Hunter Green, great start from him. outdueled Ray. So we got no bullpen usage out of the Reds yesterday. Cubs only used one reliever, though, so the Cubs do still have a bullpen advantage here. They do still have the better offense, but how motivated are the Cubs going to be? Because, again, part of my handicap yesterday was the Cubs clinched a playoff spot. They're pretty much locked into that playoff spot. The top wild card is pretty much where they're going to be. They can't really catch Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee is 6 games up after yesterday. Highly unlikely. I mean, it's not going to happen. And it's very unlikely that any of these other wild card teams is going to sneak up and get ahead of Chicago, the Cubs. The Cubs definitely have less to play for here, which is kind of why I don't want to do this, because if that wasn't the case, if both teams were motivated here, I'd probably be maybe even giving out the Cubs as a play here, because I do think they have an edge throughout the pitching in this entire game, and they have the better offense too, even though it hasn't been that good recently. But I worry that they don't have that much to play for, and Cincinnati is definitely still fighting for a wild card spot here. They could potentially still sneak in there. But the Cubs do have Shota Imanaga pitching, who is having a really good season. 3.29 ERA, 0.95 whip. His ERA actually exactly the same, home and away. This month, it doesn't look quite as good, 4.76 ERA in 3 starts. But he's given up exactly 3 runs in all 3, gone at least 5 innings in all 3. I mean, that's certainly not awful. 15-1 strikeout walk ratio. Also, his command is still there, so his numbers are still good. He's given up 3 or fewer earned runs in every start, going all the way back through his last start in July. He's still in pretty good form right now, man. Maybe starting to tire out a little bit towards the end of the season. Against Cincinnati, he's been good. 38 at-bats, 10-1 strikeout walk ratio, 184 average, allowed 442 OPS. So I told you the matchup numbers seem to be in favor of the Cubs here, so that's kind of why I was considering the Cubs. I just worry about the motivational angles here, even though the Cubs looked like they did actually kind of show up to play yesterday, or at least Colin Ray did, but maybe their offense did. And that's the other thing. With motivation, it's a little bit harder to gauge as like a team in Major League Baseball, because, of course, you can kind of do it as a team, and that is a way to gauge the offense. But a starting pitcher could have his own motivation, so it kind of becomes separated. Nick Lodolo is pitching for the Reds in this one. He's having a good season as well. 3.3 ERA, 1.04 whip. He's a little bit worse at home, though, 4.1 ERA. It is a hitter-friendly park here. He's been struggling a little bit recently. Last time out against the Cubs, he had to leave early. He hadn't allowed any base runners yet into the second inning, but he had a finger blister, came out of the game, came back, didn't pitch well against the Dodgers the next time out, didn't last 5 innings. His strikeout walk numbers are still fine, though, which they tend to be. I think he had his next start pushed back a little bit. He did shut out San Diego for 5 innings at their pitcher-friendly park, which was not bad. And then last time out, he regressed a little bit at the A's stadium, but again, that's a hitter-friendly ballpark, and he gave up 3 home runs in the game, so you could maybe consider that to be a bit of an outlier, just a bad park to pitch, and he gave up 3 home runs, 5 earned runs total. Didn't walk anybody, though. 5 strikeouts. So his command was still pretty much on there. Probably just had too many pitches that were a bit too hittable. A's good offense, too. I gave up 8 hits in 5 1/3 innings there. Lodolo against the Cubs doesn't have good numbers, though. In 95 at-bats, 23-11 strikeout walk ratio. That's not very good. 326 average, 954 OPS. The Cubs definitely hit him around, so pretty big pitching disparity as far as what the matchup numbers look like. So I was thinking about giving out a play in the Cubs. I just worry about the motivation of it, man. Cubs are down from -115 to -109, 73% of tickets, 76% of the cash. So they are getting a little bit more of the cash percentage. I would lean that way slightly to the Cubs. And they did get shut out yesterday, so it could be a little bit of a motivating factor there. I don't know if they're going to be that motivated to like spoil Cincinnati's season. I think the spoiler role tends to be for like a team that's kind of out of it, and they want to try to spoil one of the better team's seasons. So I don't think that's really a factor. Just, take all that into consideration with that game. The A's at Pittsburgh. The A's played yesterday and beat the Boston Red Sox, which I'm not happy about. The Red Sox couldn't even win a fucking home series against the A's. Isn't that just great? Brian Bayo, not exactly that great. Not that the A's pitching is that good, though. The A's have won 6 of their last 7 games. They're traveling, and they played yesterday. They're going from Boston to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did not play yesterday, so Pittsburgh has a rest advantage and a travel advantage as they're staying at home, although they've lost a lot of recent games. They've lost 11 of their last 12. I mean, Pittsburgh is obviously out of it. So are the A's. The A's are playing like they still want to win these games. Pittsburgh isn't really. So looks like maybe there is kind of some motivational thing here where Pittsburgh just isn't motivated anymore. So I don't know, man, because normally I would say Pittsburgh does have a bit of an edge here because they didn't play yesterday. Pittsburgh does have the better bullpen as well. The A's bullpen is not good. The A's didn't really use a ton of theirs yesterday, but it's still not the better bullpen anyway. And Pittsburgh's is more rested now. A's obviously have a way better offense, though. Pittsburgh is like the bottom offense in all of baseball. The A's have like a top 7 or so offense. Luis Severino pitching for the A's. Not a great season for him. 4.82 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, but he has some of the most ridiculous home road splits ever. He's just been really bad in that home stadium that the A's have there, and he's been pretty good on the road. He's been like a completely different pitcher. 3.11 road ERA. This month, he has a 13-4 strikeout walk ratio in 3 starts, 4.8 ERA. He missed actually about a month prior to this. He was injured. So his numbers, I mean, they don't look terrific this month, but again, his one bad start was the home start. His last time out against Cincinnati, gave up 5 earned runs at home on 2 home runs. His starts on the road were a bit better. He went 5 innings in all of them, so he's not going that deep right now, but the other 2 starts, he had an 11-2 strikeout walk ratio and allowed 3 earned runs combined in the road starts. He is still definitely better on the road. He's going up against a very weak Pittsburgh offense, so he should be able to pitch well here, especially in a road scenario. Those numbers are only mediocre against them in 42 at-bats, 10-2 strikeout walk ratio. He's basically right at the Mendoza line, though, against them, allowing a 262 batting average and 748 OPS, which is not that great considering how bad Pittsburgh's offense is. But I'm still kind of leaning towards him pitching well in this game. Mitch Keller is pitching for Pittsburgh here. All right season for him, 4.13 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, a little bit worse at home, but pretty similar, 4.17 ERA. He's given up 2 or fewer earned runs in his last 3 outings, 3 or fewer earned runs in his last 4. Not terrible, considering most of those starts are on the road. He did face the Red Sox and Milwaukee in there, did okay in those games. His team has lost a bunch of his starts recently because, of course, his team can't hit. They've lost 5 of their last 6. He does have an 8-1 strikeout walk ratio in the 2 starts this month, though, and a 3.09 ERA. So he's still pitching all right now. He's going up against a pretty good A's offense, though. They only have 20 at-bats against him. 5 of their hitters have seen him before, and they've definitely hit him for power. He's only allowed a 250 average, but 4.4 strikeout walk ratio. It's kind of a lot of walks, and a 975 batting average allowed. He's allowed home runs to Blade and Langoliers, so the A's do actually hit him fairly well. It's a difficult handicap here, man, because based on what I just said, it seems like the A's do have kind of the matchup edges in this game almost pretty much throughout the game, except for their bullpen. Seems like they have somewhat of a starting pitching edge here. The money is coming in on the A's. If I was going to do it, I would only do it first 5 innings, though. I mean, I still worry about the lack of rest scenario there, but it looks like they're the more motivated team right now. They're sitting at minus 105, minus 106. The A's basically being a road favorite seems kind of crazy, but I mean, the A's are better than the record looks, man. People have this, like, vision of the A's that they're still like a bottom tier team, but they're not really, especially their offense. It's really only their bullpen that is. 83% of the cash on the A's, 69% of tickets on Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, shockingly, is a public side, it looks like, which makes no sense. I would lean to the A's in the first 5 innings only in this one. I'm worried about their hitting being a little bit tired, though, after yesterday. But Pittsburgh's hitting can't do anything anyway. So that's kind of the way that I look at that game. Yankees, Baltimore, I'm going to give out a play on that one, so I'll wait on that one. Washington at the Mets. The Mets are starting a new series here. They did just come off a series against San Diego that finished yesterday, so the Mets don't have rest. Washington, I believe, didn't play yesterday, so Washington is rested, but they do have a terrible bullpen. So the Mets still have the better bullpen here. They got a really good start from Tong yesterday. I pointed out how I was really worried about him. I thought it might have been an over type of game yesterday. And I wasn't right, and it was just because Tong actually did pitch well yesterday. So the Mets got that win. Big win for the Mets. They're still trying to get the wild card here. I mean, they certainly can't get the division at this point, but they got to try to get that last wild card. They're still fighting for it, although they don't have rest right now because they played yesterday. but at least for them, they're staying at home. It's definitely worse when you have no rest and you're having to travel, which, by the way, we will be fading one of those teams today. So you probably know what it is by now. The Mets didn't use a ton of their bullpen over the last few days, though, so their bullpen rest scenario isn't that bad. I'm still going to give them a bullpen edge over Washington. I mean, Washington's bullpen is just terrible. Mets have the way better offense here, too. I mean, they're just obviously the way better team. Washington kind of playing out the stretch here. They just got swept in that 4-game series by Atlanta. They're not playing well right now. They did beat Pittsburgh in the prior series, but it's Pittsburgh. Washington, maybe they'll show up here because it is a divisional series. The Mets, one of the better teams in the division, so maybe some motivating factors there for Washington to show up. Washington has Andrew Alvarez on the mound. We actually have a battle of really young pitchers here. Alvarez has done okay so far, 1.15 ERA, 0.83 whip. It's interesting that he's 26, and this is his rookie season, though. He might have had some injury issues that delayed his start to the majors. I don't know. He's been a little bit worse on the road so far, 3.86 road ERA. He's only made 3 starts so far, though. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all of them. The one rough one was against the good offense that he faced, though, the Cubs, and he's facing a good offense here, so he might not do as well here because he had 2 shutouts, but they were against Miami and Pittsburgh, and they were both at home, so those are not really talented offenses. Pittsburgh's is terrible, and he did struggle a bit in his road start against the Cubs. Although overall, 1.15 ERA, I mean, obviously you have to admit that is good, but 11-6 strikeout walk ratio, it's a little bit concerning. He hasn't allowed a lot of hits at all, but that's too many walks. Strikeout rate's fairly low. So I don't know exactly what we're going to get out of Alvarez here. He's facing another good lineup. Yes, I know they haven't seen him, and I say when you have a young pitcher, the advantage tends to go to the pitcher the first couple times they see the hitters because the hitters don't know what to expect yet. Not quite sure Alvarez is going to be that good, though. I might actually put more of my faith in Brandon Sproat, even though I kind of said the opposite in his first couple of starts because he didn't look that good. Like I looked at his minor league numbers, and they weren't really that good, but he's been pretty decent so far. He's only made 2 starts. So, again, we have 2 really new pitchers here, but he's got a 2.25 ERA, 1.08 whip. I mean, of course, people might look at this and say, oh, Alvarez has the better ERA. He must be the better pitcher. I don't think he is. I think Sproat probably is if you kind of dig into the matchup numbers a little bit or dig into the just the stats a little bit and see like who they faced and what they actually did. Sproat has a 0 home ERA so far, just 1 start. He shut out Texas. I know it's Texas. They're not a good offense, but he didn't walk anybody. His strikeout rate is higher than Alvarez's. He's at 10 strikeouts. He has 4 walks, but all of them were in the first game against the Reds. Pitching at the Reds Stadium is not that easy to do when you're on Major League debut, man. He did decently. He gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. So he's gone a little bit deeper into his starts, too. His last start, he was very efficient with his pitches, throwing 70 and getting through 6 innings. So I think Sproat actually is, looking at those numbers, it seems to me like he's the better of the 2 pitchers. He is also facing the way weaker offense here in Washington. Certainly not a good offense, and they've never seen him before. So I think that gives Sproat a little bit of an extra edge to these weaker offenses. That unfamiliarity aspect of it can be exacerbated a little bit. The money is coming in on the Mets, and of course they do have something to play for. I mean, they're trying to make sure they win, but is it worth a minus 200 price up to minus 203? Probably not. 51% of tickets, 89% of the cash on the Mets. The money is coming in on the Mets, though. I mean, I guess if you do like the Mets, probably first 5, not even first 5, go full game run line maybe makes sense. I guess that might be the way I would look to do that. But I know it's a run line with a home team. Sometimes you don't want to do that. They have to be able to score those runs there. You know, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But that still might be the way I would look in this game. It looks like a mismatch to me, and it's a bit of a motivational mismatch as well. The money's also coming in on the under. 67% of tickets on the over, 68% of the cash on the under. Total's gone down from 8.5 to 8.5 juice to the under. I do worry because it's just kind of unpredictable what you're going to get out of these starters. Although the argument for the under would be you have a rested bullpen with Washington. The Mets are at least the better bullpen and not totally unrested. And you have 2 starters that are unfamiliar with the opposing hitters. But I worry about that, man. I don't really want Washington's bullpen in any capacity. So, yeah, I worry about that. Red Sox are having to travel down to Tampa Bay, but it might be good for them. I mean, they're still trying to hold on to the last wild card. It's getting pretty dire here. I mean, you can't lose a home series to the fucking A's, man. I mean, it's just bad. The A's got a little bit of revenge there. The Red Sox won the road series not too long ago, 2 series prior to that. They did, every game was close. I mean, the Red Sox were in every game. Obviously, they could have won every game. They were a favorite in every game at home. But after you lose a series kind of embarrassingly, sometimes it is good to just go out on the road. Tampa Bay did play yesterday, but they're staying at home. But they got a pretty big win over Toronto. They're staying at home. Tampa doesn't have a whole lot left to play for, but they do have a chance to knock the Red Sox out of the playoffs. So I think that is kind of motivation for Tampa when you get to knock a division rival out. Although I would hope that they would save that eye or more for the Yankees. But, I mean, it's what's on their schedule. Tampa did use 5 relief pitchers yesterday. The Red Sox, both teams have pretty good bullpens, though. The Red Sox only used 2 guys in relief yesterday, and one of them was Tolle, who's been in their starting rotation for a bit as well, but he's kind of struggling right now, man. I don't love that at all. Connolly early seems to maybe be the better of the 2 starters. It might be too early to say, but yeah, the Red Sox have a bit of the more rested bullpen here. They are the slightly better bullpen, although both bullpens are good. Red Sox have the better offense of these 2 teams. This is a hitter-friendly stadium, though. It's basically designed like Yankee Stadium. It's Steinbrenner Field, spring training stadium that Tampa's played in. Red Sox have played there already this year, so they're kind of familiar with it. I mean, they play at Yankee Stadium all the time, so the Red Sox aren't going to be totally thrown off by this stadium. And they also have their ace on the mound, and they're going to need it when they're trying to get this last playoff spot here. Garrett Crochet, hopefully he's the man for the scenario here. He's got a 2.63 ERA, 1.05 whip. We know he is really good. The one thing I've been worried about recently, though, is he's gone way over his highest innings pitch count of his career, getting close to 200 innings pitched here. So we worry about him maybe wearing down because he's a hard thrower. He's a strikeout pitcher, but his recent starts don't make it look like he's wearing down. So hopefully that is the case. He's been good on the road, 2.29 ERA, but this is a hitter-friendly park this time. But he's been really quite good this month, man. I know he gave up 7 runs to Cleveland, just kind of inexplicable, 4 home runs against them, which that is going to, if that winds up being the difference between the Red Sox making the playoffs and Cleveland making the playoffs, that is such bullshit. If it's a game that they lost, the Red Sox still won that game. What am I? Never mind. The Red Sox won that game. I'm looking at Crochet's pitching line. I'm like, there's no way the Red Sox won that game, but they did. So my mistake. The Red Sox have won 5 starts in a row of Crochet's, including 2 of them against the Yankees. Yes, he is coming off a start against the Yankees where he did do well. He picked up a win. It was a big game. So in that respect, maybe a little bit of a letdown spot, but I don't think you can afford to be in a letdown spot here, man, when you're fighting to make the playoffs. So he did well. He had double-digit strikeouts in that one and against the A's in the start before that. Has a 26-1 strikeout walk ratio this month, so that doesn't look like he's wearing down to me. Although a little bit worrisome that he allowed 6 home runs, but 4 of them were in just that weird outlier of a start against Cleveland, so I'm not too worried about that. And that skewed his ERA this month up to 4.74, but still, he looks like he's pretty much dominating right now, man, as far as his command numbers are concerned. I'm not terribly worried about that. Stepping a little bit down in class from the Yankees to face a Tampa offense. He has good numbers against Tampa. They haven't even seen that much of him. They only have 5 hitters who've ever faced him before, and they're 1 for 17 off him. Only hit is a single from Diaz. It is usually Diaz. They have 4 strikeouts, no walks. Kind of surprised it's not more strikeouts, but whatever. I mean, he's pretty much completely kept Tampa Bay silent when he's faced them, so he should do well here, you would hope. But Tampa Bay is kind of making it difficult on the Red Sox as they're pretty much putting out their best starter to counter him with Drew Rasmussen, which I think is just kind of the way it lined up, which, again, that kind of pisses me off, man. If it was Crochet against like any of Tampa's other starters, it would be a better matchup for the Red Sox than this is. A 2.74 ERA for Rasmussen, 1 whip. He's been really good this year. He's been better in this stadium, too, at home for whatever reason. 2.6 ERA, despite it being a hitter-friendly park. Now, the one thing about Rasmussen, though, is they've been kind of limiting his pitches a bit. Don't exactly know why that's the case, just maybe to keep him fresh later into the season because he's not young. He is a veteran. But yeah, I mean, they've been limiting his pitch counts a little bit, so you're basically going to expect him to go about 5 innings here, I think, which is what he's done in all of his starts this month. They're capping him around 80 pitches in every single start for the most part. This month, he's been a little bit worse. 3.6 ERA is still pretty good. He did allow 3 earned runs in 2 of the starts, though, against Seattle and the Cubs. The start where he didn't allow any runs was against Cleveland. Very bad offense. I know they did just torch Kershaw in that game somehow. Don't know how. The thing that would worry you the most about Rasmussen in this game, though, is he has a 9-6 strikeout walk ratio this month. So not a high strikeout rate, but the walk rate's gotten high. 3 apiece in his last 2 starts. That is a little bit questionable. He is having to face a Red Sox lineup that can hit, and he hasn't done that well against them in the past in 32 at-bats. 5.2 strikeout walk ratio, nothing to really see there. That's not great. 312 batting average, 853 OPS allows. The Red Sox, even though they have some offensive injuries right now, they still got some talented hitters here, and they have hit him pretty well. So, I mean, probably still a slight lean to the Red Sox in this one. The 95% of the tickets, of course, the Red Sox are going to be public, and with Kershaw on the mound, doesn't seem like there's a lot of value there. Red Sox down from -128 to -126 on the money line. Very public, but it looks like they have 99% of the cash right now. I mean, I would have a slight lean that way, but I definitely worry about this one, man. I do. There's money coming in on the under. 53% of tickets and 60% of the cash on the under. Total's gone all the way down from 7.5 to 7. It looks like it's going towards the under 7, heavily juiced, which is kind of insane. I mean, as far as that's concerned, there might be some reasons to worry about that a little bit. I mean, that's a really low total for a hitter-friendly park like this. It's all because of the starting pitching match. I mean, the bullpens are also fairly good, but you got to worry about Tampa's bullpen being not very rested. You do have to worry about Rasmussen's matchup numbers against the Red Sox, which is actually why I kind of think the Red Sox might be the better way to look at this game, a Red Sox side, but it does worry me about it. But it is a decent spot for them. Again, when you lose a home series, you go out on the road, it tends to help refocus you a little bit, and that's what we have going on there. So those are my thoughts on that game. San Diego at Chicago White Sox. San Diego, they're still fighting for playoff positioning here. They're going to make one of the wild card spots, but they did just lose a wild card battle to the Mets, although the Mets are still ahead of them. I mean, I don't think that's really going to matter, really. I think San Diego's pretty much locked into the 5 seed at this point, the second wild card spot, although they actually have a better chance of catching the Dodgers and winning the NL West than they do in catching the Cubs at this point, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong, but still both are kind of on the table. But it was a big series against the Mets that they lost. They played yesterday. They have to travel from New York to Chicago now, and Chicago was off yesterday. The White Sox were. So the White Sox, a little bit of an edge as far as that's concerned, being off yesterday, and they're not traveling anywhere. They're staying at home, although they've lost 6 straight games, getting swept by Baltimore at home in their last series. But they are the more rested team here. San Diego obviously has the better bullpen. I mean, that's not even really close, but they used a ton of their relief pitchers yesterday, so that almost kind of negates their bullpen edge, man. The White Sox bullpen is going to be rested at least coming into this, and San Diego's used a lot of their relievers, so it is kind of a spot where it's one of those spots. It's not the one that I'm going to actually play, but you have a team that's traveling. They're not rested against a team that's not traveling and rested. There are some advantages for the White Sox here. Maybe they'll show up in a game against San Diego. Who knows? I mean, I know it's not a divisional series. It's not even a series in the American League, so I don't know. I don't know how motivated the White Sox will be for this because they're playing out the stretch, but seems like it's not the greatest spot for San Diego here, man. Dylan Cease is pitching for the Padres. Not as good as he was last year, man. 4.59 ERA this year, 1.32 whip, not great. He's pretty bad on the road, 5.54 ERA on the road, very much struggles on the road. He's been pretty good this month, though, in 3 starts, allowing 2 or fewer on runs in all 3 of them, 18-5 strikeout walk ratio, 2.4 ERA, but he didn't even make it 5 innings against Baltimore, and the other 2 starts were both against the Rockies, who are a terrible offense. One of them was at Coors Field, which I know it's difficult to pitch there, but I'm not ready to say that Cease is just back in form right now or whatever. I know, obviously, the White Sox offense is also bad. San Diego's is the better offense here, although San Diego's offense has struggled a bit. They're actually moving up a little bit here, though. White Sox definitely have a bottom-tier offense, though. Cease against the White Sox, he has pretty much ceased them. He's done well against them. They only have 4 hitters who have seen him before. 39 at-bats. He's held him to a 179 average, 503 OPS, 14-5 strikeout walk ratio. That's not that great, but he's done pretty well against them. He does tend to just walk too many guys. So I don't know if I'm ready to say we definitely should fade Dylan Cease here, although I think you're probably paying way too much for San Diego in a spot like this. Davis Martin is pitching for the White Sox. I mean, he's not great, but he hasn't been awful. 4.01 ERA, 1.28 whip. He is better at home, 3.54 ERA, so he is the better of the home road splits here. 3.86 ERA this month. He's gone at least 5 innings in all 3 of his starts, all of them on the road, too. So that's not bad. He allowed 3 or fewer runs in all of them, but his walk rate has been too high. 10 strikeouts to 7 walks this month. He's walking too many guys, man. That is the concern here. Although he is back at home, he faced one good offense or decent offense in that stretch with Detroit. Of course, San Diego, I mean, they're not that potent of an offense, really. He's done okay against them in the past. They don't have too much experience against him. 14 at-bats, 5-2 strikeout walk ratio, 214 average allowed, 741 OPS. So, yeah, I mean, Martin, he's done okay against them, man. San Diego's going to be a bit of a public side, although it does look like the money has definitely come in on them. They're up from minus 160 to minus 182. 62% of tickets, 98% of the cash on them. I don't know if it's all actual money coming in on San Diego because, of course, I mean, debatably, they're the team with more to play for, but I mean, I think they're they're getting close to being locked into their seed, though, so I don't know. And it is not that great a spot for them, so I would kind of consider maybe a first 5-inning White Sox run line. Although you could go full game, too, actually, because San Diego, their bullpen is kind of burned out right now, man, so I could see the arguments for that. Money's coming in on the under as well. 86% tickets on the over, 59% of the cash on the under. Total drop from 8.5 to 8, basically, although kind of a slight move there in kind of no man's land with some not very important numbers there, not the key numbers. The key numbers in baseball totals are the odds. The odd numbers, I mean, not the odds themselves, the odd numbers. The odds are key as well, but the odd numbers, because that's how you break the 3-3 tie. I would definitely be concerned with an under there because I don't know how much you could trust either pitcher there, but I think maybe there's some value looking to grab like the White Sox on a run line there. Toronto at Kansas City. Toronto, yeah, I mean, they're still fighting to win the AL East, obviously. Kansas City pretty much, I think, knows they're out of it at this point. They're not going anywhere. They're below 500, though, now, which could be a bit of a motivating factor. They did just get shut out yesterday, lost to Seattle. They are staying at home. Toronto's coming in. Toronto, I believe, also, wait, did they play yesterday or did they not? I think they did. Yeah, they're at Tampa Bay, so Toronto was traveling from Tampa to Kansas City, so they're actually shifting time zones here. But both teams played yesterday. Kansas City does have the better of the two bullpens. Obviously, Toronto has a way better offense. So Kansas City fairly rested bullpen after not using a ton of guys yesterday at all. 2 relief pitchers. Toronto only used 3 of theirs. Their bullpen's somewhat rested too, but Toronto's bullpen has been definitely more questionable. Kansas City's is the better of the two. Toronto definitely has the better offense, though. You're probably going to have to pay too much of a price for Toronto because you are paying for the name Max Scherzer. He's making the start for the Blue Jays here. Decent season for him at his old age. 4.31 ERA, 1.16 whip is solid. He's actually a little bit better on the road, 4.19 road ERA. This month, mediocre. I mean, he actually had a couple of rough starts in a row, but they were against Milwaukee and the Yankees, 2 difficult offenses. He didn't make it past 4 1/3 innings in either of them, allowed 4 runs in those. Bounced back a bit last time out with a 2-run, 5-inning performance against Baltimore. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. A little bit iffy, though, this month. 5.79 ERA, 13-6 strikeout walk ratio. It's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks for him this month. So I don't know exactly what we're going to get out of Scherzer here, although he hasn't thrown that many innings this season. He is used to throwing a lot of innings, too, so I'm not going to say he's like wearing down or anything like that. He is going up against a pretty weak Kansas City offense here. Where are they at? It is alphabetized. He's done pretty well against them in the past. 109 at-bats, 23-5 strikeout walk ratio, 211 batting average allowed, 631 OPS. Scherzer has done well against them. He's going up against Michael Lorenzen, who hasn't been that great for Kansas City here. 4.91 ERA, 1.38 whip. He is considerably better at home, though. It's a pitcher-friendly park, a 4.83 home ERA. He's been still kind of all over the place, man. He was injured for about a month, came back in mid-August. Did pitch a little bit better than he was before. I mean, he's allowed more than 3 earned runs 3 times since then. More than 4 earned runs only once, which was a game at Philly. They have a good offense. This month, though, overall his numbers really aren't that great, though. 7.04 ERA certainly isn't. 14-3 strikeout walk ratio is okay, though. So he's allowing too many hard hits, and his command is okay, which that's kind of his MO, really, though. And last time out, he went 1 inning against Seattle. I don't know what that was. Like, maybe they used him as an opener. So that's another thing. Like, is he actually going to get a starter's workload here? Or are they going to use him as an opener? Or, like, what's going on here? We don't even know. So that makes this more difficult to handicap this game. He is going up against Toronto here. Toronto has not done well against him, so you got to kind of think Kansas City is going to let him go multiple innings in this game, you would think. I don't know why he left the previous game, if he was scheduled to just be an opener or if they pulled him for some other reason. I don't know, because it was like 1 scoreless inning, I think, against Seattle. He's got 48 at-bats against Toronto, 5-2 strikeout walk ratio, 208 batting average allowed him, 573 OPS. I don't know, man. It's difficult to handicap this one. Toronto's very public, 95% of tickets, only 85% of the cash. They are the team with a bit more to play for because they're still trying to hang on to the AL East here. But the money's coming in against Toronto, and they're very public. Minus 137 on the money line, down to minus 126 on the money line there. So it looks like the money is coming in towards Kansas City. I mean, I can see the arguments for it. Just that Toronto's probably overvalued as a road favorite. Maybe the pressure's on them a little bit. They are traveling different time zones, but I just don't really want to put my trust in Lorenz in here, man. So it's difficult to actually do that, but that is what the market read says, at least. I'm going to give out a play on Miami, Texas, so we'll wait on that one. Cleveland at Minnesota. I mean, come on, man. Cleveland, this is ridiculous. They've won 7 games in a row. I mean, they did do it against the White Sox at first, but then they swept Detroit on the road. Detroit, pretty good home record, and they won against Schoolboy yesterday. I mean, come on, man. I'm sick of it. Cleveland is not this good. Now they're traveling to Minnesota. They could be in a letdown spot, even though I know baseball's streaky, and they're on a hot streak right now. I don't know, man. Coming off that big series against Detroit, I mean, they are still fighting to make a wild card spot, coming from out of nowhere to do it. But in this case, it still could be a bit of a letdown spot. Minnesota's staying at home and didn't play yesterday. Minnesota just lost to the Yankees at home. Minnesota, really bad bullpen, though. Cleveland's bullpen is better. Cleveland, of course, did use some of their bullpen yesterday, so the usage is more heavy as Minnesota didn't play yesterday. I don't know how much that negates it, though. Cleveland probably still got to give them a bullpen edge here, even despite that. As far as the hitting, I mean, Minnesota's hitting has not really been good either. Traded some guys away, although they're kind of a mid-tier offense, so they're the better offense. So Cleveland's offense is second worst in all of baseball. So, I mean, another reason why it's like, how is Cleveland doing this? Their run differential still sucks. Pisses me off, but the money looks like it's coming in on Cleveland in this game. It's like, this is just so ridiculous, man. Cleveland has Parker Messick pitching. He's a rookie. He's done all right so far. 1.84 ERA, obviously really good. 1.33 whip is a bit too high, though, so his ERA should go up based on how many guys he's put on base. I'm not saying he's bad, though. 2.76 road ERA, so he is worse on the road. This month, really, just in his entire season so far, his entire career, I guess, he's only made 5 starts, and only one of them was bad. It was on the road against the Red Sox. The Red Sox were able to knock him around and beat him. Other than that, he's been good. He's allowed 1 or fewer earned runs in all the other starts, got at least 6 innings in all of them. Overall, it was a 22-4 strikeout walk ratio. Has allowed too many hits, though, but most of it was because of that Red Sox game. He did face some other, at least decent offenses. Arizona, Tampa twice, in Tampa Stadium and in Arizona Stadium as well. Coming off a start against the White Sox, which, I mean, the White Sox, not impressive to beat them. But overall, I mean, I'm not going to even put that much into looking at his whip there because he's been good in every start except for the Red Sox one. So, again, that worries me. He's facing a Minnesota offense. It's not that good, and they haven't seen him before. So, Messick probably does have the edge against the Minnesota hitters for that reason. They're going to have to figure him out on the fly. Minnesota's going with Pablo Lopez. I mean, he is a good pitcher. 2.64 ERA, 1.1 whip on the season. He did get injured and came back not too long ago. He's a little bit worse at home, but pretty similar, 2.7 ERA. He was injured for 3 months, and then he came back, and he's been pretty good since coming back. 2 starts against Kansas City. I mean, not much you can take away from that. And then Arizona, more talented offense. He actually didn't allow any earned runs against them. Only lasted 5 innings, though, threw a lot of pitches, did walk 3 guys, but he still has a 1.64 ERA in those 2 starts. It's coming back. 10-4 strikeout walk ratio is not that great, but not horrible. So he's been pitching pretty well as well. The problem is, believe it or not, as bad as Cleveland's offense is, he doesn't do well against them. It's 78 at-bats, 12-6 strikeout walk ratio, 308 average allowed, 793 OPS. So Lopez has not been good against Cleveland, and the money is coming in on Cleveland. I don't love seeing it, man. I don't disagree with it, but I don't like seeing it. 56% of tickets, 53% of the cash on Minnesota. They're a bit of a public. It's just crazy to see Minnesota being public, though. Like, how is Minnesota public when they have the worst record and they're favorite? I don't know. They're down from -120, -110. 56% of tickets on Minnesota, 53% of the cash. And money kind of coming towards the under as well. When I first looked at the starting pitching matchup, I said, oh, this does look like an under. Even though Minnesota, their bullpen sucks. So if you want to go first 5 innings, could think about that. But Lopez's matchup numbers are just so bad against Cleveland, I worry about it, even though it does seem like it would be an under with Messick against Lopez. I mean, money looks like it's still coming in that way. Down to 8 juice the under. So if you wanted to do it, you could go under first 5 innings maybe. Cleveland does have the better bullpen, so I do lean to Cleveland as a side, but I don't love that. I really don't love either of them, man. I worry about Lopez's matchup numbers, which worry about that as far as the under is concerned. As far as the Cleveland side, I worry about the fact that Cleveland is unrested and traveling and potentially in a bit of a letdown spot off of such a big series. So I worry about all that, and that they just are overrated. I mean, they're not as good as their record looks. They're still, just a negative run differential. I don't get it, man. Seattle at Houston will be a play for me. I'm maybe a little bit concerned about that one, but we'll see. It's probably not what you think it's going to be. Anaheim at Colorado. This is an ugly series. 2 teams that are just going nowhere, playing out the stretch. Colorado's staying at home. They've lost 5 games in a row. They just got swept by Miami. They played yesterday, but they're staying at home. What are we talking about here? Anaheim, excuse me. Anaheim is traveling. I think they didn't play yesterday. They were at Milwaukee. Oh, no, they did. They were at Milwaukee. My mistake. They were at Milwaukee. They lost again. They got swept. They've lost a bunch of games in a row. So it's like, which one of these teams is going to win? They both can't. Neither of them could possibly win. What's going on? Anaheim's lost 7 games in a row. They're coming off getting swept in back-to-back series. They're having to travel from Milwaukee into elevation, which is not easy to do either. We're looking at 2 bad bullpens here. We're looking at starting pitchers. I don't know what we're going to get out of these starting pitchers. Anaheim is the better of the 2 offenses. Colorado's offense not that good, although it is better at home. Mitch Farris is pitching for the Angels. He is a rookie. He's only made 3 starts so far. He's been okay. 4.8 ERA, 1.2 WHIP isn't terrible. Kind of indicates maybe his ERA should be a little bit better. He's been worse on the road so far, though, with a 6 road ERA. 2 of his 3 starts have been on the road. Really, only one of them was bad, though. But it was at Seattle, which is a pitcher-friendly ballpark. He had 4 walks in that one, so his walks are concerning. 14-7 strikeout walk ratio. He'd allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in his other 2 starts. Seattle was able to get to him a bit, but again, too many walks. 14-7 strikeout walk ratio, so his command is what kind of worries me about him. Obviously, Colorado's never faced him before, so maybe he has a little bit of an advantage there just because Colorado hasn't seen him before. Bradley Blaylock pitching for Colorado. I believe this is his rookie season. It has not been very good for him. Actually, he was on Milwaukee briefly last year. He made 6 starts last year for Colorado. My mistake. He hasn't been good this year. 9 ERA, 1.82 WHIP. It's been bad for him at Coors Field, man. A 12.58 ERA. That is awful. Just hasn't been getting it done, man. It looks like he was in the minors maybe for about a month. Came back up and didn't do well. At San Diego, pitcher-friendly park, was bad. 2 walks, no strikeouts in 3 innings. Gave up 5 earned runs. Bad stuff. I'm guessing Anaheim probably hasn't faced him before. No, they have not. So what do you do here, man? I mean, you got to kind of give Anaheim a little bit of an edge there as far as the starting pitching is concerned. But the money's coming in and the offense and the bullpens are both terrible. Money's coming in against Anaheim, though. I mean, they do have a terrible run differential. Colorado's is still worse, though, obviously. I think theirs is the worst in baseball by far. 85% of tickets, 64% of the cash. On on Anaheim, so they're a road favorite. That's how bad Colorado is, that basically the worst team in the AL is favored against them in their place. Minus 120 down to minus 115, so the money's coming in against Anaheim. That's their money line favorite there. They are a money line favorite there. 91% of tickets, 90% of the cash on the over. So money coming into the under, which the total's at 12, and it's gone down to 12, juice the under. I mean, I guess I could see some arguments for an under in the first 5. I would not want to deal with the bullpens at all. First 5, you could maybe argue there's that unfamiliarity aspect there with both starters that could maybe hold this under, but I definitely worry about that. I'm still thinking Anaheim, does have the advantages there, so I just don't really understand why the money's coming in against them other than maybe the price just being too high. Like, why is Anaheim a road favorite against anybody? But the way he's pitched so far, I think Ferris is more trustworthy than Blaylock, and then the bullpens are just kind of a wash. They're a disaster on both sides, so I don't know what you want to do with that. Or you could maybe go Anaheim first 5. I don't know, man. Milwaukee at St. Louis. St. Louis didn't play yesterday, and they're not traveling. They're staying at home. They did just lose at Milwaukee 2 out of 3 the series prior to that. St. Louis is just playing out the stretch, man. Their offense has been really bad recently. St. Louis has the better of the 2 bullpens. Milwaukee definitely has the better offense, and their offense is better on the road. But is Milwaukee just kind of coasting right now? I don't know. I mean, Cubs got kind of close to them. Milwaukee still has kind of some reason to try to make sure they have the best record in baseball so they have home field throughout. Milwaukee has won 5 of their last 6 now. They did just sweep Anaheim, but they did play yesterday. Now they're traveling, starting a road trip. It's usually still a focus spot when you start a road trip. St. Louis probably will show up for this because it is Milwaukee coming into their place. So with nothing really left to play for, one of the types of games you will get up for is a game where the top team in your division is coming in. Like you'll show up and try in a game like that, in my opinion. Milwaukee, as far as their bullpen usage, used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. So their bullpen, even though, St. Louis is the better bullpen anyway, though. So St. Louis does have a bullpen edge. Starting pitching, you probably have to give the edge to Milwaukee. They do have Jacob Misiorowski pitching, and he's had some struggles, though. I mean, of course, he's a really young rookie, but he hasn't been as good as Skeens was when Skeens first joined the majors there. I mean, Misiorowski's been a bit up and down. 4.35 ERA, not that great. His whip is pretty good, though, 1.13. He has been worse on the road, though, 5.61 road ERA. Been a little bit more difficult for him on the road. His first start ever was actually against St. Louis, and he actually no-hit them for 5 innings. 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, so it was too many walks. And then he faced them again in his most recent outing. So St. Louis just saw him again, and they got to him that time for 4 runs, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. So Misiorowski, I worry about him a little bit, man, because one of the edges he's going to have is that unfamiliarity edge, and St. Louis is the most familiar team with them. So I think you might worry about Misiorowski a little bit. His numbers are only okay this month at 3 starts. Still a high strikeout rate for the most part. 16 strikeouts, 4 walks, not bad. 4.41 ERA, though. He's allowed some runs, man. Failed to make it 5 innings against Philadelphia. I know they're a good offense, but if you're basically supposed to be the next new elite pitcher, you're going to have to start pitching better than this, and maybe he will. I mean, he has the talent. He throws 100 miles an hour more than any other team in the league, so he definitely is able to do it. Against St. Louis, his numbers are actually kind of weird. I mean, we just showed you those 2 starts, and the numbers, when you look at what those numbers look like as far as the bats are concerned, it makes Misiorowski look like he can handle St. Louis a little bit better. 31 at bats. They have 6 hits against him. It's just that it's 2 doubles, 2 home runs, so the power numbers have kind of been there. 8-3 strikeout walk ratio. Not that great of a ratio for him, but he's held him to a really low 194 average. Obviously, that's good. 716 OPS is high considering how low that batting average is. It's still pretty low overall, but he's just allowed too much power to them. So we'll see what he's able to do here. He's going up against Sonny Gray, who's the much older pitcher. Gray, an appropriate name for him at this point, probably. He's kind of tailed off towards the later part of the season, man. He's a good pitcher. He's been good throughout his career, but maybe he's starting to wear down a little bit. Always has really good command, like good strikeout walk ratio and stuff, but sometimes he gets hit too hard. He's got a 4.43 ERA, 1.22 whip this season. Probably indicates his ERA should be a little bit better. He is better at home, 4.04 ERA at home. He's been maybe a little bit better his last couple of starts, along 3 or fewer earned runs against San Francisco. And then Milwaukee. He did just face Milwaukee. He did well in that start, though, on the road. In 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, allowed 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. So kind of a bounce-back start for him after he'd walked 3 guys or more in 3 straight starts. So kind of difficult to gauge what you're going to get out of Gray here. He has a 19-8 strikeout walk ratio this month, which is a high strikeout rate. It's too many walks. And a 6.61 ERA is obviously a high ERA, but he hasn't allowed that many hits, really. It's just been kind of some timely hitting against him. The A's took him deep 3 times. So I don't know, man. Up against Milwaukee, Gray, his numbers are mediocre / not great. 158 at bats. He has a pretty solid 48 to 12 strikeout walk ratio against him, but he's allowed a 278 average, 810 OPS. So I don't know that we can really bank on Gray in this game either. I mean, I see some reasons to maybe start looking towards an over in this game. The total's low, 7.5. It is juiced to the over. 75% of tickets, only 68% of the cash on the over. So the public seems to kind of like the over, I guess, maybe just because it's a Brewers game. But they got to be seeing the starting pitching matchup and maybe kind of thinking otherwise, but maybe not. I mean, I could see maybe these pitchers both giving up some runs here. Maybe Mizurowski won't go that deep into this game, although St. Louis's offense is pretty bad. But 7.5, there's just not a lot of leeway there with that number. Milwaukee's up from -115 to -118 as a road favorite here. 89% of tickets, 99% of the cash on them. So they're public. It looks like the money might be coming in on Milwaukee. I'd probably agree with it. I might keep it to first 5 innings, though, because St. Louis is rested and they have the better bullpen. So if you want Milwaukee, probably you're just banking on Lay versus Gray. No, Miz versus Gray. You're out pitching. You're banking on Miz to outpitch Gray in that starting pitching matchup. So that's the way that I would approach that game, I guess. Philadelphia at Arizona. Arizona, I believe, didn't play yesterday, but they did lose a win streak. They had 4 wins in a row. They lost to San Francisco. And then had yesterday off, and they're staying at home. So Arizona, a little bit of an edge there as far as rest, staying at home. But, I talk about when you lose a win streak, sometimes you effectively lose the game twice, and it hangs you over a little bit. But I still think they will be focused because it is Philly coming into their place. It's a series with Arizona basically playing out the stretch at this point. I mean, they're actually technically still in the wild card race. But I think it'll be a little bit more motivating that it's Philly that's coming into their place. So they might want to show up for a game like that. But they are coming off losing that win streak. But Philly is coming off a big series themselves. They were in LA and they won the series against the Dodgers, winning the first 2 and winning 2 out of 3. They got shut out in the last game, but they are coming off a big series, man. And Philly, they've already wrapped up their division. They still could potentially catch the Brewers. So they do have that to play for, but they've already won the division. They're already going to be one of the top seeds. So I don't know if Philly's going to be somewhat on cruise control at some point. I mean, this series means less than that Dodgers series did because it was the Dodgers. This is just the Diamondbacks. Philly has a bad bullpen, but so does Arizona. And both bullpens are bad. But Arizona's is worse. But both bullpens actually rested yesterday, though. So Philly... Oh, yeah, Philly didn't play yesterday either. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, Philly didn't play either, and they're traveling. And so both teams are rested yesterday, my mistake. So they're 2 bad bullpens, but they're both rested at least. I still wouldn't trust the bullpens, though. Philly has Taijuan Walker pitching. I don't know if I trust him really either. 4.17 ERA, not terrible. 1.39 whip. Indicates his ERA should be higher. That's too many men on base. He is better on the road. 3.86 road ERA. Last 4 starts have been rough, though. He's only made it past 5 innings once. He's allowed 4 earned runs or more in all of them. 6-5 strikeout walk ratio this month and a 7.8 ERA this month in 3 starts. 2 of the starts against Miami and Kansas City. That's not a good sign. Those are weak offenses. The other was against Milwaukee, so they're more difficult. But still, he's not looking like he's pitching well right now. His numbers are not great against Arizona, although it's a very small 10 at-bat sample size. 12-1 strikeout walk ratio. Moreno has a home run against him. He's allowed a 300 average to them, 1,064 OPS. That's not very good. And he's going up against Ryan Nelson, who I still think is cheating at home. He's had a pretty good season from out of nowhere, as I've pointed out many times. Don't know how it's happened, other than maybe the pine tar on the visor. 3.34 ERA, 1.06 whip for him. He's been way better at home. 2.51 home ERA, even though it's a hitter-friendly park. And some of the Arizona pitchers have been worse this season, where they should have been better than they are. So I don't know. I don't quite get it. Nelson, he's been good. Last 4 starts, 3 or fewer earned runs allowed in all of them. This month, 2 ERA, although too many walks, 14-7 strikeout walk ratio. Walked 3 apiece against the Red Sox and against Minnesota the last 2 times out, but went 6 innings in all 5 of those the last 5 starts, 6 1/3 in the one prior to that at Colorado, by the way. But he gave up 4 runs in that one, but it was Coors Field. So to me, I do think he is basically in form, even though the walk numbers are a bit too high. He only allowed 1 earned run in those last 2 starts, despite all the walks against Minnesota and the Red Sox. So he's still in pretty good form here. I mean, I think you got to trust him over Taijuan Walker, though. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Although Philly can hit. I mean, both of these teams are good offensively. Philly probably has the better offense of the two, although it's slight. They're both there. They're both in the top 5 offensively, even though Arizona traded some of their hitters right around the trade deadline. Nelson has been okay against Philadelphia in 49 at-bats, 17-4 strikeout walk ratio. That is good. 265 batting average allowed, 743 OPS. Those are solid numbers considering which offense it is. It's a good offense. So I do think you got to lean towards Arizona in this game. As far as the bullpens, I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you don't want to have Arizona's bullpen involved because they do stink. But where are they at now? Where's Arizona's bullpen? Yeah, there they are. They're 4th worst. So Phillies is a little bit better than that. So, yeah, I don't blame you. If you want to discount the bullpens here, Arizona first 5 innings seems like maybe a decent way to look in this one. I do worry that there's that little bit of a hangover effect with losing a win streak for Arizona there, but that's probably the way I would look. That one hasn't made my card here, but the money seems to agree with it. 54% of tickets on Philly, 61% of the cash coming in on Arizona. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with it. Again, that's the way that I would lean in that one. And then we finish it off with the late night game on Apple TV, which Apple TV, I guess, has Toronto, Kansas City, and San Francisco Dodgers tonight. MLB Network will have Cubs, Reds, and Philly, Arizona. So at least the televised games are some of the better games. San Francisco at the Dodgers here. Both teams will be motivated for this. I mean, it's a divisional series, even though San Francisco is most likely out of it. They're going to show up for a series against the Dodgers. The Dodgers only won 2-1 last night. So Logan Webb, I believe, was pitching for San Francisco. He actually did pitch well. I forget who the pitcher was for the Dodgers last night, but it was a good pitching performance on both sides. I think it was Yamamoto, right? So both pitchers did pretty well there. Dodgers have a 3-game lead in the NL West. They're still trying to hang on to that. Both teams obviously with something to play for here. Well, maybe not as obvious on the San Francisco side, but again, they're facing the Dodgers, so that's reason enough, in my opinion. San Francisco only used 1 relief pitcher yesterday. They're the better bullpen. The Dodgers used a lot of their relief pitchers yesterday, so there's a big bullpen edge on the San Francisco side here. Starting pitching, I don't think is an edge for San Francisco, though, with Robbie Ray pitching. He's had a good season, but it looks like he's starting to wear down a little bit, man. I don't know about his innings pitched count here. He hasn't thrown this many innings since 2022, at least, and he's a little bit older now. He has a 3.5 ERA in the season, 1.2 whip. Obviously, that's pretty good. He's done a little bit better on the road, too, 3.28 ERA on the road. But he's struggled recently, man. He's allowed 4 more earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts. This month, he has a 7.24 ERA. 18 strikeouts is a ton, but 7 walks. He's walked a lot of guys here in games at Coors Field against Arizona and at the Dodgers. I mean, I know those are not easy offenses to face, but he's facing the Dodgers here, and they just pretty much lit him up for 5 earned runs in 4 innings at San Francisco. 4 walks as well, 5 strikeouts, 6 hits allowed. Wasn't a great performance from him. His numbers are not great against the Dodgers generally in 161 at-bats. 45-25 strikeout walk ratio is way too many walks. 255 batting average allowed, 858 OPS. The average isn't that high, but he's allowed a pretty high OPS to them, man. So they've hit him for power. So I don't know if I could trust Ray. And in the form that he's in, I don't think I could trust him. Clayton Kershaw is pitching for the Dodgers. Decent season for him. 3.53 ERA, 1.22 whip. He's been a little bit injured. He might be a little bit extra pumped up for this game, though, because he just announced that he is retiring at the end of the season. I kind of didn't expect it because he's been okay this year, and he's 37. A lot of guys will pitch deeper into their careers, you know. It looks like he hasn't totally lost it yet, but he has announced that he's retiring. And because of that, the Dodgers might really come out and show something here and might want to play for him, man. So I think that's a motivating factor in this game. He might pitch better. The team might kind of rally around him. I know it's not going to be his last game, but it's getting there. I mean, we don't have too much left of the season here. How many more games is he even going to pitch? This is going to be his last home game, actually, of the regular season. So likely, I mean, he will pitch in the playoffs, likely, but this is going to be his last home game of his career. So that's pretty big, man. So it's going to be a big outing for him. He's a bit better at home, 3.38 ERA. So that is a motivating factor that matters. I worry about the recent form that he's in, though, man. 13-9 strikeout walk ratio this month. That's pretty ugly. 6.59 ERA. Maybe just he looked at the way he was pitching this month and kind of just decided, yeah, this is going to be it. Just wearing down a little bit here. Hasn't really pitched that much this season either. I mean, it is pretty impressive what he's been able to do this season, though. But I know there are some guys that are out there who are older than him who are still out there doing it. Verlander, Scherzer, Morton. Morton probably shouldn't be, though. Maybe the other guys shouldn't be either. I don't know. Kershaw, but yeah, he's struggled a bit this month, man. It hasn't been against good offenses either. All the starts are on the road, though. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and then this very San Francisco team. He only went 3 innings in that one. Allowed 4 walks, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. Not a good outing. 2 strikeouts. Generally, he is good against San Francisco. I mean, that is what you expect. But obviously, a lot of these numbers are from past years and not this year where he's starting to wear down a little bit. 126 at bats, 37-9 strikeout walk ratio. Good numbers here. 198 average, allowed 514 OPS. Good stuff, but even though, yeah, he's going to be motivated, I could definitely see the argument for the Dodgers here. You got to worry about the Dodgers bullpen. Dodgers are sitting at a minus 170 favorite here. Seems a bit heavy. Probably paying a bit too much for Kershaw and maybe even for the retirement factor here. 87% of tickets, 99% of the cash on the Dodgers. The money looks like it is coming in on the Dodgers. If you wanted to do it, you'd probably have to go Dodgers run line, and that means you have to deal with San Francisco's bullpen advantage, so that would worry me a bit. I mean, I guess, you could go Dodgers first 5-inning run line if you wanted to. I guess you could do that. You do probably get the benefit of the matchup numbers between Kershaw and Ray at least. But I worry about Kershaw's recent form, man. The Dodgers, we do know they score a lot at home. So that is part of this, like the ability to cover a run line at home. If you do it first 5 innings, you don't have to worry about them losing an inning of at-bats in the 9th inning because they'll get all 5 at-bats. And you still get the advantage of the Dodgers having a really good offense at home. I think the way to look at this game is actually the over, though. Sorry to Kershaw. I know it's going to be a big, motivated game for him, but he hasn't been in good form recently. The total's flipped from 8.5 juice to the under, 8.5 juice to the over. I think both pitchers come with some pretty big question marks here. I believe this is also a battle of lefties, which is interesting. 70% of tickets, 91% of the cash on the over here. Money looks like it is coming in on the over. And you got one, at least, pretty bad bullpen with the Dodgers. I know San Francisco's bullpen isn't bad, but most of the components are there actually for an over. And I think the public's going to actually kind of shy away slightly from the over, even though usually they'd be on an over in a Dodgers game. But I think they're thinking, both these pitchers have good ERAs. Kershaw, he's like a Hall of Fame pitcher. So I think the tendency is going to be more to want to bank on him pitching well here. But I would go over in that game if I was going to play that. I think that's actually probably the best way to play that game. So that was the breakdown. I forgot to put the graphics up. We'll go to best bets. They're all in baseball. And then I am going to talk about college football and then get out of here. So for the best bets segment here, first one up, we're going to go with the Baltimore Orioles first 5 innings here, man. I know the Yankees have the better offense. We know the Yankees are the better offense. Yankees, both bullpens are pretty bad, but probably the Yankees actually have the slightly better of the bullpens, and they didn't use that many pitchers yesterday. Baltimore used a lot more, so I don't want anything to do with Baltimore's bullpen here. We're going to focus just on the starting pitching matchup, where I think Baltimore does have an edge here. You can find a decent price on this first 5-inning money line here, just at minus 110, and then with the money line, if it's tied at the end of 5, the bet will push. Yankees shut Baltimore out yesterday. Yes, I know the Yankees are still motivated here. They've won 3 games in a row. Yes, I get it. The Yankees are trying to make a wild card spot, potentially trying to win the AL East still. We get all that motivated here. But Baltimore, they lost yesterday in an ugly shutout. It is the Yankees in their place. Baltimore, I think they do want to play spoiler. There is reason for Baltimore to show up here. They don't have a whole lot left to play for. Normally, you'd want to fade the Yankees bullpen, which is weird that I'm going with the first 5 innings here. The Yankees bullpen was a train wreck. They've been a train wreck most of the season, but recently, even though they added some guys at the trade deadline, it seems like it didn't even help. Like, they were really bad in that Minnesota series. They were really bad against Detroit. Crazy, but I know Baltimore's bullpen sucks. I just don't want any part of it. The starting pitching matchup to me looks like it is an edge for Baltimore. We got Will Warren pitching for the Yankees. He is not their best pitcher. 4.44 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, not great numbers. He is particularly bad on the road. His road ERA is like over 1.5 runs higher than it is at home. 5.81 ERA on the road. That's pretty bad. So he is worse on the road. He's coming off another ugly road outing at Boston. He did last 5 innings. He gave up 6 earned runs in the first inning, and then he settled down. Jazz Chisholm kind of fucked him by refusing to catch a foul pop fly. Warren probably still would have allowed about 5 runs if that didn't happen. But Yankees have lost his last 3 starts, all of his starts this month. Didn't do too badly against Houston and Detroit. Of course, the bullpen got absolutely annihilated after he was out of the Detroit game. His strikeout walk ratio is pretty good, 11-2. Not many walks at all. Not many strikeouts anymore at this point, but 5.63 ERA this month. That last start was pretty abysmal, so I do worry about Warren here. Baltimore hasn't seen a ton of him, but they have been able to hit him. 5 of their hitters have faced him, only 15 at bats. I know it's a small sample size, but he has 3 strikeouts and 3 walks against them. Yes, I know all 3 walks are Henderson, though, but they have a 400 average and 1,100 OPS against him. So I think Warren could do a bit poorly in this one, man, even though I know he's a little bit unfamiliar to Baltimore still. He's going up against Trevor Rogers, who I know I didn't have any faith in him at all coming into this season. Like, looking at his past numbers with Miami, his numbers in AAA, I was like, he's not going to be good. And he has shocked everybody. He's been excellent. 1.43 ERA, 0.89 WHIP. I've had some winners playing on his side or on unders with him as of late. Yeah, I know his numbers are unsustainable for sure. But like, if you look at like the advanced analytics guys talk about like expected ERA and whatever, like based on like how many walks, how many hits he's given up, like whatever. What should his ERA be? Like, I guess his WHIP and his ERA should both be higher than they actually are, but still I think his expected ERA is still like around 3, which is still solid. He's been good at home, 1.1 ERA at home. He's given up 2 earned runs or fewer in every single outing except for his second outing of the season, which was at that Tampa Bay stadium, which is awful. And he's given up 1 earned run or fewer in all but 1 start going all the way back into late July, which was also at Tampa, where he gave up 2 earned runs. So if you throw those starts out, I mean, he's only allowed more than 1 earned run once, aside from the starts at that Tampa stadium. I know that's insane. Can't keep doing this. How does he keep getting away with it? I don't know. But the last 2 outings this month were against good offenses too. Dodgers, Toronto, didn't even really matter. 1.74 ERA. He only allowed 2 earned runs combined. Didn't go as deep into those starts, but for a first 5, we only need him to go 5 here, which he did in each of those last 2. 12-5 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, he had too many walks against Toronto, 4 walks, but seems like maybe a little bit of an outlier. It doesn't seem like really that much of a trend. And because he started pitching later in the season, he hasn't thrown that many innings yet. So I'm not totally worried about him wearing out yet. He threw more innings last season, where his numbers were, last season between Miami and Baltimore. And his numbers were really bad last year, which again, that's why I'm thinking, like, how is he this good right now? But I'm not going to question it right now, and hopefully we just get this one right. His numbers against the Yankees are pretty good at 34 at-bats. They only have 6 hits off him, 8 strikeouts, 6 walks. Yeah, I know that's too many walks, but 176 average, allowed 594 OPS. We'll roll with it. We'll go with the Baltimore Orioles in the first 5 innings. It's going to be a fade of the public, although it does look like the money's kind of coming in on the Yankees right now. They are down from -118 to -117. So I do think you're getting a decent price on this, given the starting pitching matchup here. 72% of tickets, 93% of the cash on the Yankees. I worry about that cash percentage a little bit, but it looks like you are fading the public here, at least with this one. The total did go up from 9 juice to the under to 9, but it looks like some of the money is actually coming in the under. 50% of tickets on the under, 60% of the cash on the under. If you were going to go under, you would have to go first 5 innings here. There's no way that you'd want an under with these 2 bullpens, in my opinion. So, but, you know, Will Warren doesn't really seem like that great of an idea for that. Again, I think the way to do this is Baltimore in the first 5 innings. That is what I'm going to do. And at least it's a public fade. Pete, what's up, man? You're going to go with the Orioles as well. First 5 innings only, though, man. Yeah, there you go. Let's get a winner on it, man. Pete, I think you won on the Reds first 5 inning the other day, right? When you mentioned you were on the Reds, which was not yesterday. Yesterday I actually gave out a play on the Reds, and they got it done. But I think it was a day where I didn't give out the Reds as an actual play, I think. But I said that they were my lean. I think they won. I think maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was a play for me on the full game. You had first 5 innings. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think they both won. Nate, what's up, man? Yeah, preseason hockey. I don't do any preseason handicapping, man. Like, I'll talk about the NFL a little bit, but I'm not a preseason bettor. I know there are guys that make money doing it, especially in the NFL. You can find value. Like, more people are paying attention in the NFL, but you got to be quick to get those numbers and try to get that information like right when it comes out before the books move the numbers and whatever. NHL, I have no fucking clue, but I do regular season NHL and NBA, and those are both coming up in not too long. My Boston Bruins better get their act together, man. That's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to go with an under because, of course, it wouldn't be a baseball day without me having an under, right? Most days, at least. It feels like I haven't done like a full game over for a while, but let's do it in Miami and Texas. You know, I talk about Texas's ballpark. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Texas, it's still the case that in somewhere around 70% of their home games this year, they've allowed 3 or fewer earned runs to their opponents here. Their pitching is good. It's a pitcher-friendly park. We got all that going for us. Texas was off yesterday, so they got a rested bullpen and a good bullpen. Miami did play yesterday in Colorado, but I think that can kind of affect the hitting. Like when, the teams have to travel and you're traveling out of elevation. I think that can kind of slow down the bats a little bit. So hopefully that's what happens here with Miami. They are coming in from sweeping Colorado on the road, whatever. Miami's just playing out the stretch. I don't know that Miami's going to be totally focused on Texas. Texas does have more to play for here, but they're starting to probably realize they're done. I mean, that might have been the death knell there for Texas, man. So they might be in a little bit of a sad, unfocused spot, which I think might kind of come into effect as far as their hitting is concerned. Their hitting's not good anyway, and we know their offense stinks. Neither of these offenses are that good. Miami's kind of a mediocre offense. Texas, weak offense. Texas having yesterday off and returning home from a road trip, by the way. They did go to the Mets, but then they were just in Houston. I know the last leg of this journey, very short, but that does still mean they have home life to return to. They're now 5 games back of the division. Highly unlikely they're going to be able to win the division at this point. They're, I believe, 3.5 out of the wild card, so they could still do it, but I think that Houston, that might have like pretty much crushed their season, man, that Houston series. I mean, they had to win 1 game in that series, and they got swept. That is just so brutal. So coming off of that series seems like a difficult spot for Texas to be in. Not arguing for the Miami side, though. I'm arguing for an under here. So I think that will affect Texas hitting. And, of course, the hitters, like gauging the hitters as like a team, it's easier to handicap the team. Like handicapping the team, as I said earlier today, you're basically handicapping like what the hitting is going to do, but then the starting pitcher might do something completely different. And I think that's what you might get in this game here. Now, as far as the bullpens, yes, Texas has a good bullpen. They're rested here. Miami, mediocre bullpen, but they're pretty rested. They haven't used a ton of their bullpen recently, so I think we're okay going full game on this one. We are going to get Jansen Junk for Miami, but he's actually been okay. 4.48 ERA, 1.19 whip, so I think he could do well enough to help us out here. He's been better on the road, actually, significantly so. 3.72 ERA on the road, so we're getting him on the road here. He's been decent over the last month plus. He's allowed 3 exactly earned runs in 5 of the 7 outings, I think is what that is. So mediocre. I mean, I think he can keep you in the game at the very least here. I know he hasn't been exactly terrific. Yeah, this month, 7.84 ERA, 7-3 strikeout walk ratio. I know that's not good. He got kind of bombed at home by Washington. Both of his starts are actually at home, and again, he's better on the road. So keeping all that in mind, he's kind of a converted reliever, though. He was a relief pitcher for a while, but overall, I mean, his whip is pretty solid. He's been decent enough that I think he can keep us in this game. And again, he's facing a weak Texas lineup here. Texas hasn't seen much of him. They haven't seen much Junk. Junk, by the way, when Junk is a relief pitcher and he's coming in later in the game, we call that Junk in the trunk. But we don't have that now because he's a starter. Only 4 Texas hitters have ever faced him before, and they're only 1 for 7 off him. The only hit is a double from Dylan Moore. They have 2 strikeouts, 1 walk from Garcia. It is true that Garcia is back, so he's one of Texas's best hitters. He did come back, but still Texas does have a weak lineup. 143 batting average for them against junk and 536 OPS. So limited sample, I know, but they're not that familiar with him. He's pitched well. And then on the Texas side, Tyler Mahle is coming back in this game, man. I think this is a good thing. I talk about this with veteran pitchers. He's a veteran pitcher. He's 30 years old. He's been pretty solid at different points in his career. I mean, it's kind of been weird. He's been hard to predict. He's had years in his career where he wasn't good. He's had years where he is good. And he was pitching really well this season before he got hurt. 2.34 ERA, 1.13 whip, which I don't think it was totally sustainable, but now he's coming back from a shoulder injury. And you know, I talk about this when veteran pitchers come back. I talked about this with Cole Reagans the other day, even though he wasn't that good, but he was good enough to get us the win in that one. And it was against a pretty good offense, Seattle's. Mahle is facing Miami here, and they're not very good offensively. So, and just playing out the stretch at this point. Mahle, I think he's going to be pumped to get back out there, man. And, you know, there is that outside chance that maybe Texas can do something. So for him, I think he is going to be motivated. I'm not sure that the hitting will be. Maybe the team will get up, you know, around him, but more so when a pitcher is like motivating the team around him, it affects the hitting a bit. It affects the pitching, I think. I can't get it right. It affects the fielding behind him because he's out there. They're behind him. You know what I mean? So the fielding tends to be better. Maybe not the hitting. So we'll see. But I think Mahle will be pumped to get back out there, man. He wasn't good at AAA. It was a very small sample size. I know he had some rehab. I think he made like 2 rehab starts in AAA, and his ERA was like in the 6s, which I was like, oh shit, that's not good. I'm like a 1.5 whip, so that does worry me a little bit, but they're not going to put him out there, you know, in a crucial part of the season like this unless they think he's ready to go back out there and potentially help them. So we're going to get that out of him. And he's been way better at home this year, too, with a .82 ERA, which is absurd. I know, again, it's unsustainable, but we'll see what we get here. He was pitching just crazy well this season. He'd allowed 2 or fewer earned runs going up into late May, where he allowed 3 earned runs once, pitched another shutout, and then his last 2 outings, he was a little bit worse. He gave up 4 earned runs in each of them on the road, both of them. At Tampa, I mean, give him a pass for that probably because Tampa Stadium, very difficult to pitch in. The other one against Minnesota, maybe less excusable, but maybe he was dealing with an injury, getting hurt, so I'm still not going to put that much stock into that. I think what he really is somewhere between what we see here. Like, he's not quite as good as his season numbers look, but he's not as bad as he was in his last 2 starts. Going up against Miami, I don't think they've ever seen him before. Yeah, so we have another edge from Mahle. Miami, even though he's 30 years old, they don't have any hitters who've ever faced him before. So Mahle has another little bit of an edge here. He's unfamiliar to the opposing hitters, so I like it. We're going to go with the under in this game. Hopefully that analysis makes sense. We have 57% of the cash, 57% of tickets, 99% of the cash on the under, and the totals dropped from 8.5 to 8. Not really a significant move there. It's kind of in no man's land. So we will go with the under here. And we do see the money coming in against Texas, which I was kind of making that argument a little while ago, that Texas could be in sort of like kind of a dream crusher scenario almost after they had to win one of those games against Houston. They're down from -155 to -145 on the money line. 91% of tickets public coming in on Texas. But Texas' season might be over, man. And only 79% of the cash. So Texas very public. Money coming in against them, which gives me hope that junk might actually pitch a bit better than you think in this game. Does mean maybe Texas's offense just won't be totally focused. But then on the other hand, I think Mahle will be pumped to just get back on the hill, man. So I think we get all that going for us here. We'll go with the under, like I said. And the move between 8.5, 8, like those numbers are kind of dead numbers as far as the total. I mean, not totally dead, but the odd numbers matter more. So if you get the better price on the 8, go under 8 instead of 8.5. Long season for the Bruins. Charlie McAvoy, kid. He's going to be at the Olympics. Yeah, Connor McDavid, not a fan of him. Pasternak, yeah. He's really good, man. It's just the team has not been playing well. I know they fired their coach in the middle of the season, and their coach went on and did way better and got the Blues into the playoffs. Montgomery, I mean, I don't think he was the right fit in Boston anymore, though, man. They're going to need to do something, but this Boston, I mean, they're still a talented enough team to be a playoff team here, man. I mean, I don't know what the fuck last season was. They got to get back to the playoffs. They got to get back to their winning ways. I like going to the playoff games. I usually go to the playoff games, although now I don't have a job right now, so we'll see. But the playoff games, I usually go to like one every series, man. It was fun to go to the playoff games for the Bruins. Kind probably the most fun actually going to any of the going to versus like Celtics versus Red Sox versus Bruins. The Bruins crowd is just a bunch of drunk, bearded men, basically. I'm like, this is my crowd, even though I think it's fun to go to Red Sox and Celtics too. But yeah, last game, people might not like this one, and people probably thought I was going to go under in this one, but I'm going to go with the Houston Astros on the money line here. This is against Seattle. This is a huge series for both teams, man, which is why I put it in the title. It's the biggest of these games that I have a play on. Yeah, I am a little bit worried that the money looks like it's disagreeing with me and coming in on Seattle. And I know you're looking at this, you're thinking under because it's Wu against Brown. I like both of these pitchers. They're both good. So I am a little bit worried that I'm fading Wu here, but I think there are some reasons to do it. Seattle flipped from plus 105 to minus 106. I just don't really understand it. 50% of tickets, 66% of the cash coming down to Seattle. Seattle's taking the money. Yeah, I mean, I'm going against that sentiment, but I don't see it, man. Houston... First of all, Houston didn't play yesterday. And yeah, they just swept Texas at home, so you might think that means they're sitting there kind of basking in this. Well, no, I don't really think this is going to be a letdown spot or anything like that. I know that was a big series, but so is this one. Houston is tied with Seattle for the division. Of course, you'd rather get the division than you'd rather be the divisional winner than be a wild card, man. You'll have home field for more of the playoffs, and I think that matters. And speaking of home field, Houston's way better at home, 46-32 at home. Seattle's not good on the road, 36-42 on the road. So we're getting the home team here with Houston. They have a pretty solid home-road dichotomy, and so does Seattle going in the opposite direction there. So we're getting a team that's not so good on the road, and their pitchers tend to not do as well on the road, hint, hint. Even though Wu's not exactly bad on the road, but he is worse on the road. And we're getting Houston, who's good at home. Houston's rested. It's a big series here. Both bullpens are fairly solid. I know Houston's has kind of struggled a little bit. They've had some injuries there. But Seattle's had more use, even though I know they didn't use a ton of relief pitchers yesterday, but they used some, and they had to play yesterday, and they're having to travel down from Kansas City. So Seattle has no time off plus travel, and Houston doesn't have either of those. Houston is rested and staying at home. So I think those are advantages to Houston here, man. Yes, Seattle has the better offense. I get that. But we're going to go with the situation and the pitching here. Seattle's 11th. Houston's not that much further down, actually. Houston at 13th. We're looking at team OPS there. And as far as the bullpens are concerned, Seattle is only very slightly better at 3.7 ERA on the season. Houston, 3.74. It's the difference between 9th and 11th in baseball. I know that includes when Houston had like Hader still there, and he's such a hater, man. And he's hurt right now, but whatever. Houston's the more rested bullpen here, so it gives them a slight edge. Yes, it does mean we're fading Brian Wu, which is dangerous. He is really good. 3.02 ERA, 0.94 whip, but he's not quite as good on the road. 3.58 road ERA. He does allow too many home runs, which is a little bit strange because Wu is really, really good otherwise. Yeah, I know he's been really good. He's been good recently, too. I get it. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in every start going all the way back through the beginning of August. He's allowed 2 or fewer in all but 2 of those starts. I know Seattle's won 6 of his last 8. I understand. I get all that. Against Houston, though, his numbers are actually surprisingly not good. In 72 at-bats, Houston has been one of the teams that's been able to actually hit him. Most teams are not able to, but Houston has, and they're familiar with him, of course. 72 at-bats, 14-2 strikeout walk ratio is really good for him, but Houston has a 306 batting average against him, 838 OPS, and the damage is kind of spread throughout their lineup with 4 home runs across 4 different batters. So Wu isn't quite as good on the road, even though he's still pretty good, but he's beatable on the road at least, and Houston does actually hit him well. Houston has some of the best offensive numbers against him out of any lineup. So even though they're not one of the absolute top-tier offenses, that is the case. And Wu has to go up against Hunter Brown, man. So he's Houston's ace at this point. 2.27 ERA, 1 whip. So his numbers are actually better than Wu's, although the whip is a little bit higher. But the numbers overall, I think, become better than Wu's because he is better at home than Wu is on the road. Brown doesn't have significant splits. He has a 2.25 ERA at home. Speaking of Wu, what he's done recently, look at what Brown has done recently. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every start, going all the way back through his last start in July. And July, I think he just got thrown off a little bit because he got named to the All-Star team for the first time. So he was a little bit shaky around the All-Star break. And he's been dominant pretty much throughout the season. Other than that, he's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs throughout the entire season, other than like 2 other starts besides the ones around the All-Star break. So he's been excellent. Against Seattle, good numbers against them and 115 at bats. So even though they're familiar with them, 44 to 11 strikeout walk ratio, that's solid. 226 batting average allowed and 647 OPS. So he's been good against Seattle. So we're going to roll with it, man. I think Houston has the travel edge, the rest edge. Both teams do have motivation here. The bullpens, I think, slightly go to Houston here just because of the rest advantage. They'd be kind of a wash otherwise, in my opinion. The hitting is almost a bit of a wash here, and I actually think we have a starting pitching advantage with Hunter Brown, so I'm going against the market there, and we're going to go with Houston. I wasn't quite going to do it. Looking at the starting pitching, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be an under, but when I dug into it, I decided Houston was right. Hopefully it is. The total's very low, by the way. It's headed towards 6.5. It's headed towards 7. Excuse me. It's 7.5. Heavily juiced the under. It'll probably be at 7, and that's expected. I mean, this is a great pitching matchup. I'm not saying Woes going to be bad in this game, by the way. I'm just saying that Houston has enough edges that I think they can pull this game out, and you're getting not a very expensive price on them. 73% of tickets, 87% of cash on the under. So the money is coming in on the under. I get it. I mean, both bullpens are solid. Starting pitchers are both very good. So the under just makes a lot of sense. So it's one of those obvious unders. But in this case, I'm not going that way. And maybe it's too obvious. Who knows? We'll go to college football, and then we'll get out of here because there's no NFL, right? NFL Friday was just that Brazil game at first. And then we'll talk about NFL once it comes up. Yeah, we don't have any NFL. By the way, tonight, college football, the Saturday breakdown will be tonight. My big college football show, which usually runs like close to 2 hours. Got a lot to break down. I already have probably at least 2 plays that I know of that I'm going to have on Saturday in college football. We're going to talk about it tonight. I'm not going to give out any plays tonight, but these matchups are somewhat interesting. I mean, ESPN has given us an ass game here between Tulsa and Oklahoma State, but at least the one good thing about this is that Oklahoma State is such ass that maybe Tulsa can actually compete against them. And Tulsa is a little brother, remember, in the state of Oklahoma. So Tulsa always gets up to face Oklahoma State. And I think Oklahoma State did blow them out last year and kind of embarrass them. So Tulsa might be looking for a little bit of revenge here, too. The money is strongly coming in on Tulsa, though. So if you like Tulsa, Oklahoma State's down from 14 to 9.5 already. You might still be able to get a 10. If you wanted Tulsa, that's probably the lowest that I would go on that. I would at plus 10. I wouldn't want to do it at any single digit number there. I think it would have to be plus 10 or better. Get the double digits at least if you want that. The total is somewhat high-ish, in the mid 50s. So, when I take underdogs, I like taking underdogs with low totals too because the points mean more. Although this isn't exactly a high total necessarily either. It's kind of in the middle. But yeah, 52% of tickets are on Oklahoma State, 59% of the cash coming in on Tulsa. Again, I agree with the Tulsa side generally. Oklahoma State, I mean, everybody thinks about them, the big name team. They're a Big 12 team. Yeah, whatever. But they've been so bad recently, man. I'm shocked that Mike Gundy is still there. I know Gundy is like a staple there. He's been around like forever. Everybody remembers his press conference where they asked him about like his quarterback or something. And he was like, don't ask him about that. He's a kid. Ask me. I'm a man. I'm 40. Everybody probably remembers that because it went viral. And then Gundy had like a mullet after that. Everything went viral. But the I'm a man, I'm 40 actually was 17 years ago. And now I'm a man and I'm 40. It makes me feel so old, man. But I can't believe Mike Gundy is still there with how bad Oklahoma State's been recently. I thought he was probably gone, but I kept thinking like, I'm not. I said it on my show last week. I'm like, I think he's still there. And he is. It's just crazy, man. I don't know, man, if the recruiting dried up or what the fuck's going on. But, of course, they're in the Big 12, which the Big 12 got far inferior because some of their better teams, of course, left for the SEC and whatever. Big 12 is just sitting here as this kind of lame finesse conference. It's not really as good. Oklahoma State, they faced the tougher schedule, man, because they faced Oregon last week. And oh boy, did that not go well. They lost 69-3 to an Oregon team that, while they're good, I don't think they're that good. I mean, Oklahoma State they're bad, man. And yes, this is going to be their home FBS opener, so they probably should show up for it for that reason. because their first home game was against an FCS team, Tennessee Martin, and they didn't even look good in that game, really. They only beat them 27-7. So I don't know, man. Things are just not good for Oklahoma State right now. Tulsa's not great either. And what are we going to get out of Tulsa? I don't know, man. Their only win so far is against an FCS team, Abilene Christian. They lost at New Mexico State and Navy, although, of course, Navy, sometimes you can't figure them out because they run that triple option. Navy is still the best of the service academies right now. And again, this is going to be a game that Tulsa gets up for. I mean, this is their biggest opponent on the entire season, and it's an in-state big brother in Oklahoma State. Obviously, if they can, they want to go in and beat Oklahoma State, beat the big brother, who's kind of down this year. So I do agree with Tulsa plus the points in that one. It's just you've lost a bit of the value, but it would have been a lot better to get 2 touchdowns on that than the plus 10. But it's not a game I really want to get involved in. Rutgers, I will disagree with you on Rutgers. We'll talk about Iowa-Rutgers right now. Rutgers, to me, looks like one of these dreaded public home underdogs, which you don't get a whole lot of that. So, to me, those are teams that I think you absolutely want to fade if you're going to play the game. I considered giving out Iowa as a play, actually. I was looking into it. I was like, I kind of want to do it, but I don't really have enough to really justify it. I don't think enough of the factors that I look for, but the market read is really telling me Iowa's the right side here. 66% of tickets, only 62% of the cash on Rutgers. Again, you get a home underdog like this, and the public is on that home underdog. That's not what you want. The odds makers are telling you what you need to know. Iowa's the better of these two teams. They're the way better team defensively. I mean, Rutgers recently has been a team that plays solid defense and has like an okay offense, but this year it's been like their offense has been good with Kaliakmanis, who came back this year. And their defense hasn't been that good, and Iowa's the reverse. I mean, Iowa, they're always a great defense under Ferentz, but their offense usually is just pitiful. But their offense looks like it's actually not that bad right now. I mean, Iowa does like to run the ball a lot still, but it looks like maybe they have a capable quarterback this year. I don't know. Kirk Ferentz fired his son, so no nepotism there. I think before last year he did. Ferentz's son was the offensive coordinator, and I think he either fired him or put him in a different role. Maybe he put him in a different role because I don't think you really fire your son. That would just be kind of ridiculous, but something like that. But Iowa, they've put up some decent offensive numbers against very bad opponents, though, Albany and UMass. But I was surprised they put up 47 points against UMass, man. That's still an FBS team, and I said I liked UMass to cover the plus 35 there. I was just thinking, how is Iowa going to have enough offense to even do that? But they did. So, I mean, Iowa, yeah, I mean, I think that their offense might actually be a little bit better this year than people think that it is. And their quarterback, I forget his name, is actually not terrible. It is, I know they still run the ball a lot. And yes, they did still have a punt return touchdown in that game for one of their touchdowns. But it is, Mark Gronowski, yeah, not Gronkowski, not Gronk, Gron. Mark Gronowski is their quarterback. He seems like he's not totally inept out there for Iowa. So Iowa actually has a little bit more balance than what you would think. And they played the more difficult schedule so far because they did play Iowa State in a big rivalry game. I know they lost on the road, but it was a really tough, it was a slobber knocker, as they say. That's what every game between Iowa and Iowa State is that. It's a low-scoring, punch-you-in-the-mouth defensive game, and, yeah, that's what it was. But Iowa played pretty well. They covered the spread there. Yes, I do know they have Indiana up next, but I don't know that they're going to be looking ahead to Indiana because this is their first Big Ten game of the season, so I don't think they're really going to overlook Rutgers here. They face the more difficult schedule, so I know Rutgers is 3-0, which is part of the reason. Public, oh my God, 3-0 team against a 2-1 team, and they're a home underdog? Oh, it looks like there's so much value there. Yeah, but look who Rutgers has faced. They faced 2 MAC teams. They almost lost to Ohio. I know Ohio's one of the better MAC teams, and they brought back, Parker Navarro, their quarterback and whatever, so they're not bad. But still, there's no way Rutgers should have almost lost that game. Rutgers did have a big lead in that game. I think they just kind of started packing it in too early, though, and then almost got caught. And then I gave out Rutgers as a play after that in the second game because they got scared. I was thinking they were going to have a better game the next time out. They did win and cover. They were a win for us against Miami, Ohio. But Miami, Ohio sucks this year. They had a lot of turnover on that team this year. They lost like Gabbert, their quarterback, not good. And then Rutgers last time out, they beat Norfolk State 60-10. I mean, I understand their offensive numbers look impressive. They put up a ton of offense in these games. Their offense is pretty good, but this is by far the best defense that they're facing this year. It's not even close. Iowa, really, really good defense, and Rutgers has faced no defenses so far, I would say. So, yeah, I mean, I think their offense is going to be slowed down quite a bit in this one. There is a little bit of an unfamiliarity thing here where Iowa doesn't play at Rutgers very often because Rutgers is kind of new to the Big Ten. Iowa did play there back in 2022, I believe was the last time they played there, though, and Iowa did win that game. I think it was like 27-10 or something, so maybe the unfamiliarity won't really matter. This game is on Fox, by the way. I'm almost talking myself into playing Iowa here. I mean, I definitely like the Iowa side here. I know I got caught like trying to go with, when these isolated games, I just start focusing on these isolated games. And I know we had a loss on Kansas State last week, and it was deserved. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kansas State. I mean, the game was close on the scoreboard, but not really statistically. But this game, I do like Iowa. I am considering it, and I think it's still just like the perception is that this Iowa offense is so bad. Like, how can they cover as a favorite on the road? Well, you're not asking them to cover by too much. And the money's actually coming in on the over. It's a low total at 46, but 56% of tickets on the under, 62% of the cash on the over. So the over looks like it's almost like kind of an anti-public play with the professional money coming in on it, which might be the case. I mean, Rutgers' defense may not be that good this year, and Iowa with a more capable offense, let's say, maybe somewhat of a more balanced offense, might be able to put up some points this time against Rutgers. I do think Rutgers' offense might be slowing down, but their offense is still good. So, I mean, I guess I could see some arguments for the over, just maybe because it's just maybe a total that's just a little bit too low based on the perception of Iowa, but I wouldn't really want to do that. I like the Iowa side. Yeah, you don't like Iowa because, Nate, are you you're the Nebraska fan that we have, right? I'm sorry, I forget who's who at this point. Are you you're the Nebraska guy? Gay McSwallows, yeah. Mark Gronowski, yeah. Maybe that's his nickname, I don't know. I'm tempted to give it out. I guess I won't. I guess I'll lay off on that, but, I mean, digging into that a little bit more, I mean, the fact that Rutgers struggled against Ohio, and they haven't faced any FBS teams yet, but I guess one reason to stay away from Iowa here is that this is Rutgers' Big Ten home opener, so there is that. And it's on a Friday night. Rutgers, they don't get a ton of games that they host that are on national TV, isolated like this, where everybody's going to be watching this game, because more people are going to watch this game than the ESPN game, I would guess, because who wants to watch Tulsa and Oklahoma State? I think people are going to watch this Big Ten matchup more so on Fox. So it is a big game, so I guess I'll stay off of it just because of that. Rutgers, you could see them come out certainly motivated for that reason. It is a big game, a big Big Ten game. I mean, neither team is going to lack motivation here, though. It's just a matter of, I just think Iowa is kind of just being overlooked in this game. So that's the way that I look at it. The plays today are all in baseball. Baltimore Orioles first 5-inning money line, under in Marlins Rangers, and Houston Astros money line. Definitely going against the market read in that one. But that's the way that I look at those games, man. I'll be back tonight for the big college football weekly show, the Saturday show. I have at least 2 plays that I'm going to give out. I'm almost positive about that. Usually I wind up with about 4. So I'm pretty selective with it, but we'll see. And I talk about all the big games, basically. And, I don't have any monetization. But if you guys want me to talk about a game I am not really about to talk about, I will still do that too. So give my thoughts on it at least. So that'll be around midnight tonight as usual. I should be there tonight for it. And then the NFL show will be tomorrow night as well. NFL, I have probably 2 games that I kind of like. I don't love the NFL card this week, though. The college football plays that I have in mind already, I like them quite a bit. Not so much with the NFL, so we will see. I got to break down the rest of college football. There are games that I haven't looked at yet, so the games that I have in mind right now are games that I've heard other professionals already talk about, and I said, oh yeah, I like those. One of them I already had in mind anyway, though, and they confirmed it with me that some of them agree with me on it, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. But we will see. But I'll be back tonight, man. So keep on the lookout for that. Learn to Toad. Oh my God, Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. Better Off Dead. Like, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Check it out on audio. Spotify. Apple, I mean, those are monetized, so all people have to do is listen, and I can get some money that way because there are ads. Got to listen to the ads. I don't even know what the ads are, but Spreaker just throws them in there. Reviews help as well over there. Give me good reviews. I have a few reviews, so thank you guys for that. Covered in Uke is my Uke project that I have on YouTube. I'm planning on starting to do like some live streams with that hopefully soon. So that is something to keep in mind as well. And then patreon.com/learntotode. Maybe I'll do some Patreon streams or something. I got to do a little bit more for the Patreon. So right now there's a Uke feed that you get on Spotify from it, and then the highest level you get Uke requests, which I don't think anybody's taken me up on that yet. And I know I've done some requests for non-Patrons, but I probably got to cut that out a little bit just to try to incentivize people to do the Patreon, although I can't guarantee that I'll do every request, though. And then the live ones, you're not going to get a great, like I'll do requests live on the live show that I'm planning on doing. It's just, you're not going to get like a great, one that I sit down and actually record, because sometimes I have to do multiple takes, whatever. That one, you're just going to see me trying to like do it on the fly, which is its own thing. But anyway, thanks guys for hanging out this morning. Pete, Nate, was it just you two there this morning? I think so, but thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll be back later. Let's get some wins in baseball here. Enjoy the football, and that's going to do it for now. Peace.